What if I told you that behind one of the most powerful movies about Christ's life lies a story as intense as the film itself? The Passion of the Christ wasn't just a production. It was a journey filled with real suffering, mysterious occurrences, and life-changing transformations. Mel Gibson's vision brought something never before seen to the big screen. Yet the sacrifices and strange events that took place on set often left the cast and crew stunned. Imagine the lead actor enduring actual lashes, or the unexpected lightning strikes that hit during filming. It's almost as if the film was destined to challenge those involved at every turn. And it wasn't just the on-screen moments that made an impact. From learning ancient languages to financing the entire project out of pocket, Gibson's commitment knew no limits. The process sparked deep spiritual transformations, unexpected accidents, and an atmosphere so powerful that even skeptics found themselves moved. This is a film where reality blurred into the message of faith it sought to convey, pushing everyone involved to their absolute limits. Are you ready to uncover the untold events that happened behind the scenes? Brace yourself, because this story goes deeper than you'd ever imagine. The process of making The Passion of the Christ was no ordinary film shoot. It was an intense experience that blurred the line between acting and genuine physical pain. Jim Caviezel, embodying Christ, found himself enduring actual suffering that added layers of authenticity to his portrayal. This wasn't about faking agony. Jim was literally whipped, even receiving injuries that most actors would never dare face. Imagine preparing for a role and finding yourself deeply scarred, not just emotionally but physically. It's the kind of experience that brings a sense of reverence and a certain awe for what he took on. One of the most profound moments came when Jim carried the crosswine, which was far from a mere prop. The crosswine, weighing well over 100 pounds, wasn't easy to lift, let alone bear across rugged terrain for hours. For many, a heavy workout feels exhausting enough. But Jim's task was to carry that weight again and again, day after day in all weather conditions. This was no gym training session. This was pure, undiluted physical endurance. He faced bruises, scratches, and aching muscles, which became part of the story itself, etched on his body and in the memories of the cast and crew. Adding to the intensity, Jim was struck by lightning twice while on set, something no one could have predicted. The weather in Italy shifted rapidly, and one day, during filming, lightning descended in a flash of unpredictability. Think of a moment where life throws you a curveball, one you can't dodge. That's what happened here. And Jim walked away with a profound understanding of unpredictability and resilience. Each time he recovered, it was as though he was uncovering a new layer of what it meant to embody Christ. Now, if you've ever felt you were pushed beyond your limits, imagine enduring not just emotional strain but physical pain, day after day, while maintaining your dedication. Jim Caviezel was living what many might consider a true test of faith and grit. There's something powerful in embracing such challenges willingly. It wasn't about being a hero. It was about commitment to a cause, something that speaks to all of us when we face our own crosses in life. Through all these trials, Jim's connection with his role deepened, so much so that every scene was infused with authenticity. It wasn't just acting. It was something more, something almost sacred. For him, portraying Jesus wasn't about reciting lines or hitting marks. He had to live the agony, even if it meant scars that would linger long after the camera stopped rolling. This echoes a lesson in dedication and the pursuit of something larger than oneself. A lesson that reminds us of our own commitments and the endurance they sometimes require. For the film's crew, watching Jim go through this was a humbling experience, and many admitted to being moved in ways they hadn't expected. Here was a man, suffering genuinely in front of their eyes, in pursuit of something that transcended mere cinema. For the audience, knowing these details adds a new depth to every scene. This wasn't make-believe. It was as real as the challenges we all face, and perhaps more intense. Through Jim's ordeal, viewers gained a sense of the cost of such dedication, a price not everyone is willing to pay. And so, as Jim stepped into each scene, the crew around him felt the gravity of his suffering. There's something magnetic about witnessing such dedication, and it brings to light how few of us experience such depth in our own pursuits. Jim's resilience is a testament to the power of a cause and what one person is willing to endure to bring a message to life. This leaves us wondering, what would we be willing to face to bring a greater truth into the world? When Mel Gibson decided to produce The Passion of the Christ in Aramaic, Latin, and Hebrew, he set an ambitious goal that few directors would dare to tackle. It wasn't just about authenticity, it was about immersing the audience in the era and message of Christ. These ancient languages brought an intense learning curve for actors who had to not only master the sounds but capture the essence. Imagine stepping into a role and being asked to speak words spoken thousands of years ago. Gibson's choice gave a layer of historical depth that regular dialogue simply couldn't achieve. Filming in Aramaic posed a unique challenge for the actors and the audience alike. For many, understanding a single phrase required guidance and repetition, as each line was a study in precision. Actors rehearsed not just lines but syllables, repeating words to capture the sounds authentically. Learning Aramaic is a task in itself, but learning it for emotionally charged scenes pushed them to new limits. For those who tried to absorb it, it was like connecting to a lost, sacred rhythm of storytelling. Finding actors fluent in Aramaic, Latin, and Hebrew was a rare feat. Gibson had to search far and wide to bring in voices that could resonate with the film's depth. Consider this: a director casting based on linguistic skill and not just talent or appearance. It's a tall order, one that brought unique faces and stories to the production. Language became a gateway, drawing cast members from diverse backgrounds who each brought their personal connection to these words, adding layers to the film's impact. Italy's filming locations added to the aura, but also tested the endurance of everyone on set. Italy has that raw, ancient feel, yet its weather and terrain presented difficulties no one expected. There's a scene where Jesus is carrying the cross on rocky ground, and these filming spots weren't sets, they were historical locations, unpredictable and harsh. It's as if the land itself whispered the history of the events portrayed, giving each scene an undeniable sense of reality. For audiences, watching the Passion of the Christ in these languages was a unique, almost mystical experience. Aramaic, Latin, and Hebrew gave depth to dialogues, making each word feel like an echo from the past. They weren't just hearing words, they were experiencing an era. This is like reading a novel in its original language. Something is retained that no translation could fully capture. Gibson's choice encouraged viewers to listen more deeply, connecting with Christ's journey through the rhythms of a foreign tongue. Even off camera, the commitment to these languages affected the cast and crew profoundly. Many reported that learning these ancient words was like studying sacred texts, giving the film an atmosphere of reverence. Some actors even found themselves moved by the language's power, as if these words resonated on a spiritual level. It wasn't just acting, it felt like a pilgrimage, something greater than any role they had played before. That feeling stayed with them, long after filming wrapped up. With such dedication, Gibson didn't just make a film, he created a bridge to history that allowed modern viewers a glimpse into a different time. It's rare to find a movie where language plays such a pivotal role in conveying emotion and authenticity. This choice wasn't about adding flair, it was about transporting audiences to another era and immersing them in a reality as close to Christ's world as possible. This opens a question for all of us. What would we experience if we connected with history this intimately? The making of The Passion of the Christ wasn't just filled with hard work. It was marked by strange events that baffled the cast and crew. Multiple crew members, including the assistant director, were struck by lightning. Not once, but twice. Imagine the unpredictability of filming outdoors and then facing nature's raw power in such an eerie way. Many began to feel that something more than mere coincidence was at play. It's one thing to manage filming logistics, it's another to contend with forces beyond your control. Some cast members reported a kind of energy on set, something almost tangible yet impossible to explain. This wasn't the usual buzz of a film shoot, it was as if the atmosphere held a heavy presence. Crew members began to talk about this feeling openly, comparing it to stepping into a sacred space. This energy became a shared experience, affecting everyone differently, yet leaving them all with a lingering question. Was it a manifestation of the story they were telling? For many involved, these inexplicable events left a lasting impression that went beyond filmmaking. It's one thing to capture a powerful narrative, but it's another to feel like you're being drawn into it on a deeper level. Think of times in life when you felt an unexplainable force or intuition pulling at you, urging you to pay attention. That's what it felt like for those on set. A kind of silent reminder that the story held a gravity they hadn't fully anticipated. Even for the skeptics among the crew, these incidents stirred something within, a sense of mystery and awe. One doesn't easily dismiss lightning strikes and palpable energy as mere chance. In our everyday lives, we rarely experience these kinds of phenomena, but when we do, they often leave us wondering about the unseen forces in the world. This was a reminder that sometimes life presents us with mysteries that don't need answers, but demand respect. The assistant director's lightning strike became a story shared by everyone on set, growing more powerful each time it was retold. Imagine how that changes a person's outlook, not just for the film, but in their personal life. It's the kind of experience that nudges you to think about purpose, fate, and the fragility of life. Just like someone surviving a near-miss accident might feel a renewed sense of purpose, many on the crew began to see the film as a profound journey rather than just another job. This atmosphere impacted the performances as well, making scenes feel weightier and more genuine. For actors, the feeling on set went beyond scripted lines. It was as if they were carrying the story's burden in a very real way. There's something that happens when you feel deeply connected to what you're doing, like a call to honor the moment. It's the same feeling that we sometimes get in our lives, that urge to go deeper, to bring our full selves into what we're doing. All these unexplained events created a shared bond among everyone involved, a silent agreement that they were part of something extraordinary. Not everyone believed it was a spiritual presence, but few could deny that the experience was unique. This kind of connection is rare and profound, and it often leaves people reflecting long after it's over. It's as if life taps us on the shoulder, asking us to pause and recognize something bigger at play. And so, this sense of awe stayed with them, raising the question, was it merely coincidence, or a sign of something much greater? During the filming of The Passion of the Christ, something unexpected happened to many in the cast and crew: personal transformations. Luca Lionello, who portrayed Judas, experienced a profound change that surprised even himself. Known for his skepticism, he hadn't anticipated how deeply the role would affect him. Playing Judas became more than just a job. It stirred something in his spirit, opening doors to beliefs he hadn't entertained. It's amazing how portraying a character can sometimes mirror real-life struggles and doubts. This transformation didn't stop with Luca. Many cast members found themselves drawn to the themes in a way they hadn't foreseen. For some, this was their first encounter with Christianity's message, and it resonated beyond the script. Imagine being part of a project that not only challenges your professional skills but touches your soul. These actors started exploring the faith they were portraying, seeing it as a mirror that reflected questions they'd long carried. Sometimes, life pushes us to reflect, even in unexpected places. Actors often connect with their roles, but this experience was different. It was as though they'd been given a glimpse of something greater. Playing these biblical characters, with all their trials and humanity, opened doors to self-discovery and growth. It's like when we read a powerful book or watch a moving documentary, and suddenly, our perspective shifts. For some, this was more than a role. It was a call to explore life's deeper questions, to look within themselves with fresh eyes. The crew wasn't immune to these effects either. They, too, were moved by what they witnessed on set, sharing a sense of purpose that went beyond technicalities and logistics. This transformation was contagious, flowing from one person to another, creating a unique environment. Think about how impactful it is to work on something that feels larger than life, something that speaks to the core of who we are. This wasn't just another film for them. It was a journey, one that lingered long after the cameras stopped. For those watching these transformations, it was clear that The Passion of the Christ had become more than just a movie. Witnessing co-workers experiencing moments of clarity or spiritual awakening had an effect on everyone. Just as one might feel when a friend shares a life-changing moment, the crew felt connected to each other in profound ways. It's rare for any project to touch people this deeply, but this one did, reaching into the hearts of even the most skeptical. This experience shows how sometimes, in the most unexpected ways, our work can become a catalyst for inner change. Just as people who volunteer or join meaningful causes often feel transformed, so did these actors and crew members. They were part of something that echoed beyond their careers, something that urged them to look beyond themselves. It's a reminder that what we do can, at times, help us discover new parts of ourselves, pushing us to seek purpose beyond the everyday. By the end of the production, these transformations had left a lasting impression on everyone involved. Whether or not they embraced faith, they had seen the power of a story to reach the deepest corners of the human heart. This left many of them with a question we all face at some point. What are we truly seeking in life? For the cast and crew of The Passion of the Christ, it was clear that their journey with the film had become a journey with themselves, sparking a curiosity that transcends any script. Mel Gibson's dedication to The Passion of the Christ wasn't just about directing. He put his own finances on the line, investing $30 million of his personal funds. He showed a commitment that few in Hollywood would dare. This wasn't a safe bet. It was a leap of faith, one that risked his career and reputation. Imagine being so dedicated to a vision that you're willing to stake your own livelihood on it. For Gibson, this wasn't just a film. It was a mission, one he felt called to bring to life. This commitment went beyond money. It was a reflection of Gibson's personal belief in the story he wanted to tell. Many of us might hesitate to invest even a fraction of our savings into a dream, yet Gibson didn't waver. He saw something in this story that went beyond box office numbers, something that spoke to his soul. It's a rare thing to find someone willing to take such risks for a project they believe in. For him, the cost was secondary to the message, a lesson in dedication that few would dare follow. Gibson's personal financing allowed him creative control, something invaluable for a project as sensitive and ambitious as this. By using his own funds, he could make decisions that aligned with his vision, without interference from studios. Think of a time when you wanted complete freedom to pursue something your way, without outside pressures. That's what Gibson achieved. Freedom to be true to his vision. This creative independence wasn't just a luxury, it was essential to tell the story as authentically as he envisioned. For Gibson, every dollar invested was a step closer to realizing a deeply personal goal, a goal that many questioned. There were no guarantees of success, and he knew it. Yet, he pushed forward, aware of the risks but driven by conviction. It's like when someone opens a small business, pouring their heart and savings into something they believe in despite the odds. This drive to make something meaningful is what set The Passion of the Christ apart. Even before it hit theaters, the financial risk Gibson took paid off in more ways than he could have imagined. Not only did the film succeed financially, but it also reached millions with its message, touching people worldwide. It's the kind of success story that's both inspiring and rare, a testament to what can happen when belief outweighs fear. This shows us that sometimes, the biggest rewards come when we dare to invest in our passions fully. It's a reminder that true success often requires stepping outside our comfort zones. This story of commitment isn't just about money. It's about a willingness to pursue something that truly matters. Gibson could have chosen safer projects, but he stayed true to a vision that meant more to him than mainstream approval. We can all take a lesson from this. Sometimes, following a calling means making sacrifices and ignoring the easy path. His journey encourages us to think about what we're willing to invest in our own dreams, whether financially, emotionally, or through our time. And so, Gibson's commitment to The Passion of the Christ remains an example of true dedication, one that resonates beyond the film industry. It leaves us wondering, how far would we go to bring something meaningful into the world? His story is a reminder that when we put everything we have on the line, the impact can be life-changing, both for us and those who experience our work. This opens a question for us all. What passion would we be willing to invest in, no matter the cost? The journey behind The Passion of the Christ wasn't just a film project. It was a profound experience that touched everyone involved in ways they hadn't expected. What can we take away from this? How far are we willing to go for something we believe in? And what sacrifices would we make to follow our deepest calling? Mel Gibson and his crew faced both hardships and transformations, reminding us that sometimes the most impactful journeys are those that challenge us beyond our limits. As you think about the story behind this film, consider the passions in your own life. What would you risk to bring something meaningful to others? Maybe it's time to take that leap, to put everything you have into a dream that inspires you. And while you're here, don't miss out. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Let's keep exploring these profound stories together. And who knows, you might just find the spark you've been waiting for.